Hello folks, how you doing? Just a quick one. I've had a request to do law, to speak about law a little bit. Now I have a totally different perspective of the law than most. It just is what it is. Folks are tied up in things with the law that are not, and that I know now are unnecessary to be tied into. So I won't do one of them videos where I'm just talking law for an hour or so. I did loads of them on my last YouTube channel, and most of them were 5-hour long videos, or up to 5 hours, between 3 and 5 hour videos, and we went into law real deep, in depth. But what I noticed is a hell of a lot of effort for not a lot of interest, and I realise most folks don't want to really hear it. They want to hear something that's going to entertain them. They're going to want to hear little snippets. But when you do long videos talking deep law, people don't give a shit. So I thought the best thing I can do is come here to start off with. I'll give a couple of recommendations of what to watch and what to read and what to look at. First of all, the Facebook group Court Rules page group, I'm not sure which it is, but anyway, Court Rules. David is a good friend of mine, and to be honest, what he posts in that group should be taken by literally everybody who's interested in the law. I personally have had a file for David since forever, as long as I've been in this game, and I shouldn't think there's much he's ever posted that I didn't save to that file, and because it goes real in deep, tells you the mechanics of the law, tells you the exact laws as they are spoken, so you can use them to defeat them if you so choose. It doesn't pick you up and say, right, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do the other. He's a wise fellow, and he's got a lot of knowledge, and he posts the knowledge, so you make of it what you will. Now, if you're interested and you're serious and you read his shit, absolutely, you'll make something of it, you'll use it. I've used much of his stuff to form most of my knowledge, to be honest, over the years. I've been following him for years. Right, as well as that, if you want to watch videos where somebody's talking sense in deep law, you want to go to urlaw.org. CJ on urlaw.org YouTube channel as well. They've got loads and loads of videos on YouTube channel. They pretty much go into the things verbally as the sort of things David would post, although David will post a hell of a lot more. But they do go real in depth, your processes, how you use and such like. If you look into the old free man on the land movement, you don't want to think about the movement. It was a load of shit. It was absolutely controlled opposition. However, when they fucking come out and they burst out the seams, they have to throw loads and loads of truth. So they're all talking truth. John Harris spoke so much truth in his videos on how to handle and who you are and what you are. You always hear me say who you are. Watch John Harris early videos, he'll tell you exactly who you are, and he'll tell it in manners that you'll comprehend. Same as Bill Turner, he'll also tell you who you are. These are the folks you need to be watching to know who you are, and they'll go right deep into the mechanics of the law, the things I'll actually do, but I won't go in depth into the hours that are put into preparing videos. I don't do preparation. Now, to give you a deep law video, I've got to do loads of preparation, set out exactly where I'm taking it, what I'm doing with it, unless I know obviously what particular angle you want to talk about, because the law is vast. But at the end of the day, there are ways to learn what you need to learn. But, and as I say it all along, all them greats, and I look at them and think, yeah, they was absolutely fantastic in the field and what they did, but did they actually achieve it? Because here's where my unique perspective comes into play, because I am evidenced as in the private. I can settle any claim that comes towards me, and just through knowing who I am, and obviously the knowledge I have builds into the notices, but the facts are in the notices. You can get all them facts from court rules in the documents he posts if you're prepared to do the reading, and just rather than just read through it all, and same with the videos, rather than just watch it all, have a pen and paper at the side of you and write down something interesting, whatever catches you. If they start going into a process, pause it and write it down verbatim. If there's something on the written on the screen, pause it, write it down word for word. I've done hundreds of times. In fact, I ought to pull out them, but I've got scrapbook after scrapbook after scrapbook where I've just filled with notes over the years of writing. Some of the stuff I've never looked at again as I'm writing down it, because you just move forward. Maybe I ought to start photoing some of them scrapbooks and publishing them. I am being pushed to write a book, and in all honesty, I do get pushed from different angles, actually, surprising angles, to write a book. And I would love to, but as you know, not a chance in this world have I got time. But however, coming up, maybe next year, if we survive into next year, I'll start writing a book. After Christmas, as that, I'll aim to slow down a little bit for after Christmas and write a book, and we'll just publish it on the internet, because no cunt's going to buy it, are they? But anyway, back to the law. My perspective of the law, I should really, I suppose, cover my perspective of the law, what I believe the law or is the law. The law is absolute, the law is unalienable, but also the law has been covered, it's been masked by the legal system. Now, when people say, tell me about the law, or I want to talk about the law, what you find most of the time is they actually want to talk about the legal system. But the law and the legal system are two totally different things, absolutely totally different things. If you want to talk about law, that's absolute, that is absolute, and as long as you're not committing harm, injury or loss, you're not falling foul of the law. However, the legal system, as we know, it's there to catch you for fines and forfeitures. It's there to attach to your SESCV. You think it's attaching to you for them fines and forfeitures. However, the fines and forfeitures, the reason for them is twofold, and probably threefold and quadfold, or whatever you'd call it, I don't know. But to what I see, the reason for it is to give you the illusion that that is what's going on here, so you're not looking into your SESCV, and also the fact it drains the money from the people. It's a way of keeping you poor, getting you poor, keeping you under control. It's not about money, it's never about the figure, it's never about the fee. Nobody gives a flying fuck about money at the top end. They're all rolling in it. And the reality is, when you get to the top of the tree, they create it. And they could create as much as they want. We used to say it's printing paper, but it isn't even that anymore, is it? It's adding ones and zeros to a computer program. Not rocket science. And the reality is, that is what it is. If they give you your black or your white card right now, them that know what that is will understand, but if they gave you that right now, you would then have no money issues. You could go around spending, if it was a white card, absolutely unlimited anything you want. You could buy islands or fucking armies. But the reality is, you won't get one if that's what sort of folk you are. But the reality is, the actual figures and money, it means absolutely nothing at all. There is no world debt. It's a fiction. There is no any debt. It's all a fiction. It's a control thing. There's a control mechanism just to keep you where you are and keep you down, or put you down if you're getting up. I'm not saying multifold. But reality is, that's all about control, and the laws surrounding money are all about controlling you. So I wouldn't go too much into that, because at the minute all you need to know is you need the money to survive. You're going out and getting it, however you're going and getting it, you're getting by. If you're paying tax in this day and age, you're your own slave. Now, the laws of tax, they pretty much ain't none. What you see as the laws of tax are bullshit. They all surround joinder. And if you don't give them any joinder, that's it. As I said yesterday on that, or the other day was it, on that very quick video about hang on a second, just had to get around that one. Where was I? I've bounced, haven't I? Sorry, it's gone straight from my head where I was. Immaterial. Anyway, we'll bounce. I don't mind doing that, but yeah, you've got to work out what it is you're after and what it is you're interested in the law, because as far as the law's concerned, when you start studying the law, you're going on to a never-ending fucking spiral, and you're just going down this hole that will keep going forever. You've got to decide what's pertinent to you, what is important to you with the law, because whichever aspect of law you choose, you could spend the next 5 years studying it and still not know it all. So really, when folks say to me, tell me about the law, talk about the law, the best, if you want me to go generic, I'm going to tell you that the law isn't what you're conducting, the law isn't what they're conducting. What's happening there is fraud and treason, and you allow that by your consent, and then it's not fraud and treason anymore, is it? Because you've consented to it. Now it's just commerce with your sesquivie, your trust, your legal fiction. The legal fiction, that's not law, that's legal. So you can forget any of that shite. So if you want to talk about law and your legal fiction in the same breath, if you want to be right about things, you're muddying the waters. They're two different things. That isn't law. And as I just said, what they're doing is conducting business. They're not conducting law. Law isn't what's going on when you go into a court. Very, very rarely is law being conducted in a court of law. 90% of the times they're operating in the capacity as an administration hearing, which is unlawful due to the constraints placed on Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at the time of her coronation. The reality is it is unlawful. Now, you tell them that, they won't want to deal with you because they're conducting business. If you know it's business, you know who you are, you know what they are, who they are, what they're doing, the positions of the trust, you put that on paper, they won't want to do commerce with you because it's going to cost them too much. And it's going to cost them rather than them earn from you. You go into court, everybody's earning. The police take you on, they get a case, they sell it to the prosecution get one, they take it into court, they sell it to the court get the profits from earning the case, or the court, the prosecution, the judge. Those three split the costs between them. So you can see how it is an extremely profitable business for them, this law thing. But the reality is, your concept of the law is usually not the law, and this is why I have a different perspective of it totally, because I have gone down that road and I've come out the other side of it, and I didn't come out the other side filling this with everything that the law has. As I keep saying, I don't know everything, and I say ever so regular, there are folks out there that know far more than me about particular aspects of law, because I learned when to stop. And yes, you can keep learning, and you can impress the hell out of folks with what you say, which is why I stick to plain simple English. If you read my notices in the Wonky World file section, you'll see that they're written totally different to the way I speak, and that's not because I fraud them hand on heart. They're written by my own hand, but I don't speak the way I write. That would make me a fucking idiot. If you're going to speak like that, you're confusing folks. If I asked you to read my notice, you're going to put it down and you're going to go, what the fuck was that? You're going to get the principle of it, but some of the words in there are just going to be way above what you know, because you haven't needed to learn those words. Not because you're stupid, because you didn't need to learn them words, and you don't need to learn them words. It's nice to put them in a notice and to be able to slap them properly, but if you don't know, you don't need to embark on years and years of learning so you can know them words. You can do plain simple English, your words. It's just that on paper they've become my words now. But the reality is, you can say it exactly how you speak, just leave out the fuck yous and all that, and you'll be fine, and the bollocks. But hey, I've used the word treason many times in documents to the government. They're not something to be frightened of when you know that they work for you. Not that I expect them to pick up a brush and mop when I tell them to clean the floors, but there's another thing. That's the old free man on the land approach to it, as like, you work for me, go and do and you this, and you give them orders. You know exactly what you're getting. You're not fucking doing anything. You're not standing up for what's right. You're just being an asshole trying to provoke a situation. There's no point in provoking them because you're already fucking right. If you know a copper's off his oath, why provoke him into violence? Because you know that's where he will go. He's off his oath. If you provoke him, he will go there. When you speak to him rationally, you can talk to him logically with a bit of an understanding of the law, because he has none of it. He's not allowed to understand the law. If he understood the law, he wouldn't be able to do his job. He's off his oath, and he'd understand what that was. But the reality is, you talk to him a little bit about law, and you're way over his head, and you don't get any of this. I'm not going to debate it. You don't get that sort. You get that sort of thing when you're being fucking pedantic. If a copper says, I'm not going to debate this, when you're telling him some truth, you just say to him, the reason you're not going to debate it is because you don't have the ability to debate it, because you know you're wrong. Right and wrong. You have fucking 1 minute to rebut what I'm saying here, or otherwise it's going to be accepted as truth. You're saying I'm not debating you isn't rebutting a damn thing of what you're saying, for and on the record. Tell him, put your camera on. I want your camera on. I am commanding you to put your fucking body worn camera on. I will be requiring the footage later for court or for my claim against you in your private capacity. He's not going to totally understand what you've said, but he's going to stick his fucking camera on. When they go to switch it off, I demand you switch that camera back on now. Put it back on. Corruption in its very fucking finest, isn't it? When they fucking turn around and go like that and switch the camera off, that's when they know they're about to step off their fucking oath. Tell them to switch that cunt back on. You see them go like that and you've got them on camera, switch your camera back on now. I require a copy of this for evidentiary purposes. This is evidence. Are you trying to hide the evidence? But bottom line, if you've got no knowledge at all, learn. It's not hard. You're learning something every day, or you're just pissing your days up the fucking wall. Learn some shit. You go, I see loads of people fucking with headphones on, fucking even at work, they're listening to the music all day long at work. Listen to some videos on the fucking law while you're doing your mind fucking numbing job. Study. And if you don't want to study, you don't want the information, because when folks say, tell me about this, you tell them about it, and what do they take in? What percentage of what you've told them do you think they've retained? So, and this is where you go. So, at the same time, I don't want to say no when folks say, tell me about this, because you hopefully when somebody says, tell me about this, they want to learn. But I think rather than just fucking blah, 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 I'm best off pointing you to where I learned the sort of things. But I can't say that's where I learned, because yes, I did learn from these, but I spent years listening to fucking everything and anything and deciding myself whether it was bollocks or not after I'd listened to it, or during the time I was listening to it in a lot of cases. But and I don't want to send you off looking at shite. So I do recommend some, but I don't recommend much, because there's some, like at the minute, observation deck. Robert, is it? He's going to some depths. Now, I don't think he's entirely got it, but he's going further than most would, and he's trying to tell you some remedies. His latest one, I was asked what I thought of that. That was his lean processing. It's a bang-on process of lean. I don't really know at the minute whether I trust the guy. I don't trust the guy because the sheer amount of followers he's got. I don't trust anybody with thousands of followers. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have good information. I don't know what his game is, what his goal is, what his gain is. But I don't need to. I don't need to. I'll keep looking in on his stuff every now and again, and I see what's right and proper. He's put some things out there that have missed the mark in front, as far as I'm concerned, since I've been watching. And I told him I'm watching him. I'm keeping my eye on him, whether that means anything to him or not. Not as in like, oh, I got my eye on you. In a bish bash between us, little conversation sort of thing. But I did say I'm watching from a distance, just to see whether he's going to go wonky or not. I told him I'm fully expecting him to, as I do fully expect everybody to. Only in comments on his video. It's not like I've had a telephone call with the fella or anything, but that is what it is. So yeah, we've bashed a couple of comments backwards and forwards, and I am watching him. At the minute, I can tell you his lean process is bang on. If you followed that, you would absolutely get your payout. I can't remember each video he's done because I don't watch them all. If I see one and somebody asks me about it, I'll have a look at it when I've got time. And I'm not about to start giving you a narration of any of his videos. You watch it and you get your understanding of it. If you ask me what I think to a particular part of it, but although I did look at it because I already had an interest when I was asked to, when I am asked to watch videos that are an hour long, I don't do it. And it's not through fuck you, it's through just I ain't got the time to do it. If I had time to watch videos like that at will, I've got a load I'd like to watch. But yeah, it just can't happen that way. But I do have a particular interest in him because he is getting close to the mark. Although I do think he's missing the mark, but with the lean process, absolutely, it's a sound process from what I see of it. So there's some recommendations and a little law. If you want me to go into anything in particular in the law, you're gonna have to tell me what exactly. But in all honesty, I think the problem with talking in particular aspects of the law, folks don't really know what aspects. Folks don't really know what aspects there are to talk about. You only know really what's in your little bubble and your little world. But then when you get a little bit deeper, you'll find out about personage and barratry, and you go into that, and you'll find out that's actually committed against you an awful lot, and it's something you can use and quote. But David DeSuri puts fantastic material up about those sort of specifics, and those are the exact things you want to be looking at in court rules. Because if I went into personage and barratry, I wouldn't do it the justice that he would do it on documentation, because just talk, it's all there. So get into court rules. I believe everybody who's looking at the law should absolutely be in that group, on that page, and they should be absorbing literally everything he ever posts. I don't agree with literally everything he ever posts. He goes into the Magna Carta at times, and most of you know that's useless in my process. I have no care or need for it in any way, shape or form. But he does cover it, and there's many things that he will cover that I don't do, but his information is usually sound. So get your head into his stuff and learn some shit. That's the best thing I can say to anybody. Now law, what other aspect of the law to cover it? And like I say, it is covered. It's being masked by the legal system. If you want to know about the law, you need to learn about the separation between lawful and legal, and you'll only do that by doing your own due diligence, by getting your own head in it. The law is very clear, whereas legal isn't clear at all, and it's not even about interpretation. It's if you come within 100 yards of it, you're liable for it, you're pulled in, and now you're fucked. We've got our claws into you, they're fishing, and the hook gets you, you're dragged in. It's as simple as that, unless you know how to get the fuck out of it. And to do that, you need to know about the separation of legal and lawful, and that is to absolutely know, comprehend and understand that there is a clear separation between legal and lawful, and you're not conducting law. If you wish to conduct law, you need to know a little bit, and then throw back at them law when they come to you with legal, and law trumps legal always. There is a maxim of it, and it always will do. Law is inalienable. Folks think that they're getting rid of the law. No, they're not. They can't ever get rid of the law. All they can do is cover it with more covers, hide it from you. They can breed it out of education, and then within a couple of generations nobody knows law exists. But I'll assure you of one thing: there'll be the grandkids of those that did know from this generation that will always know, and they'll always carry it forward. And the legal, no matter where that goes, will never trump law as long as you have the knowledge. The books may disappear, the information will disappear from the internet eventually. So don't you think it's important to get your own knowledge? That's why the law books are hundreds or thousands of pounds. I know I've spent thousands on them. That's why the real programs that you go on to learn the real stuff cost thousands of pounds. I spent fortunes on learning stuff, on going on to programs to learn things, and it's the very fact. It's a secret world that's becoming more and more secretive as they're hiding it more and more, and it will disappear from the realm at one point. All but disappear, should I say, because as far as these sort of chats are concerned, they'll never be able to happen in the future. As far as anybody telling you, it's going to be from their mouth to your ears, and it's going to be as simple as that when it comes to the real shit, because it's going to be that censored out of things. It's just not going to be available to you. So you have to learn it, and you have to pass it down through the generations. I have an amazing database, and everybody who's looking at the law should have a fantastic database where they're saving interesting and important things. So many folks I know, what was that you said? What was that? Why didn't you write the fucker down if it was that important? It's logic. People are listening to videos that folks have spent a lot of time preparing and getting all these points of law ready for you to tell you. They tell you this and you're just watching it with no pen and paper, no way of retaining it. It goes through your head, and then 10 months later you're saying to somebody, oh, I saw something on a video once somewhere. Where is it? I can't find it. I can't even remember what video it was on now. I've done it myself. That's why I write shit down. I got little videos that I do as I'm trundling down the road, and thoughts come to my head, and I put the video on quick so I can just record my thoughts and go back to them later. It's all your due diligence. It's all part of the learning process. You let these thoughts go in and out of your head, and they're gone. A memory of something somebody said to you once that could trigger the solution to all of your problems, but you let them just slip out of your head. You need to get a record of the important shit. You need to start building your own knowledge database. Your database on your internet, your database in paper. If you don't get books, if you do get books, get them. Even if you're not going to read them immediately, if they're law books and that part of law pertains to you, or you think that one day it might do, you get an opportunity in a thrift store, or you see on the internet a law book for a couple of quid, grab the fucker. Chances are it cost hundreds. So there you go. Law, I'm in my style, because I can't do law in somebody else's style, and I won't blow smoke up folks' ass by talking about shit that they really won't understand or comprehend. I don't do that. I leave that for the others. I try to talk in a manner you'll understand, and I don't do semantics. I try not to do legalese. If I do legalese, I'm telling you it's legalese. If I'm saying a word that can be construed as legalese, you can be absolutely sure I'm saying it as one word having one meaning, and the definition of that meaning is how I define it. And how I've defined it is plain simple English. So if I say the word understand and you said understand, that's just your bollocks, that's just pedanticness, and that's just the ridiculousness of what's happened, brought on by free man on the land into this fucking movement. Free man on the land was that shit. You was designed to ridicule each other. You were supposed to ridicule each other. You were supposed to fall out. You were supposed to separate and segregate, and it's exactly what it's done. That's what controlled opposition does to you. That's what legal is. Controlled opposition. Folks need to wake up to this shit. They are being controlled by the opposition. Always. The entire truth movement is controlled opposition. It ain't doing you any good whatsoever falling for that shite. It never will. So be careful what you ask for, because if you really want to go into the law, you've got to be prepared to go into the law and not the legal. If you're going to mix legal and lawful, that's muddying the waters, and if you're going to skirt on the edges of muddying the waters, you need to really know what you're doing. So I would advise folks, don't do that. The first thing you need to know is what the separation between legal and lawful is, and it's quite easy. One's commerce and one's law. If it's an act statute, it's legal. If it's absolute, it's common law crime, isn't it? And it isn't all about common law, but that is the reality of law. You're dealing with common law crimes, are dealing with real law in a court, and acts and statutes are dealing with frauds and fictions. So anyway, folks, I'm going to leave you with that word, and I hope that's helped a little bit. No doubt it'll bring on a load of questions, but hey, what can I say? Have a good one all. Ta-da.